In the beginning, there was silence. The earth was bare, the sky was wide. The rivers slept beneath the morning mist, and the breath of God moved gently upon the face of the world. From the dust he shaped a man, strong yet tender, formed with care and purpose. And into his lungs he breathed the breath of life. And the man opened his eyes, seeing light for the first time. His name was Adam, and the world was new around him. The trees bowed softly, the rivers sang, and all things were good, yet one thing was missing. Adam walked through the garden. He named the creatures that came to him. The lion roared, the dove cooed. The sky filled with wings and songs. But still his heart was quiet and searching. God saw that it was not good for man to be alone. And so, while Adam slept, God took from his side a rib. From that rib he shaped another, a being soft with grace and filled with light. When Adam awoke, he saw her standing in the glow of dawn. Her eyes reflected the garden, her breath matched his own, and something within him leapt like a flame. She was Eve, the first woman, formed from the bone beside his ear. When their eyes met, the world grew still. The wind held its breath, the trees leaned closer. And Adam said, "This is bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man." And love began, not with passion or possession, but with recognition, knowing that one soul had found another. They walked together in the garden, their steps in rhythm with creation. Their laughter mingled with the sound of the river, and they knew no shame, no fear, no distance between them. Each morning, the light kissed their faces. Each night, the stars watched them rest. Days flowed like gentle rivers. The garden bloomed beneath their care. The earth was kind, the sky unbroken, and God walked among them in peace. But near the heart of the garden stood a tree, tall and silent, heavy with forbidden fruit. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The one tree they must not touch. God had said, "Eat of every tree freely, but of that tree you shall not eat. For in the day you eat of it, you shall surely die." They heard and obeyed. One day, as the light drifted through golden branches, a voice called to Eve softly, smooth as honey, bright as deceit. The serpent said, "Has God truly said you shall not eat of every tree?" And Eve replied, "We may eat of all except this one. For God has said we must not touch it, lest we die." The serpent smiled, "You shall not surely die. For God knows that when you eat, your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be like him, knowing good and evil." Eve looked again at the fruit. It glowed like a secret waiting to be shared. She felt its beauty, its promise, its pull, and she reached out, her fingers trembling in the light. She took the fruit and ate, and with each bite the air grew heavy. The garden seemed to sigh, and innocence began to fade like mist at sunrise. Then she turned to Adam, who watched her with love and confusion, and she offered him the fruit. He didn't resist the temptation, he ate. In that moment the world changed, their eyes opened, their hearts shook, and they saw that they were naked. Shame came upon them, fear crept where peace once rested, and they hid among the trees. Clothed in leaves, trembling beneath the weight of their choice, God walked in the garden. His voice was gentle, but filled with sorrow. "Adam, where are you?" he called, though he already knew. Adam stepped forward. "We heard you and hid, for we were naked." And God asked, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree I commanded you not to eat?" Adam lowered his head. "The woman you gave me, she gave me the fruit, and I ate," Eve said. "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." Then God spoke truth into the broken air. The serpent was cursed, the ground was hardened. Pain and toil would follow them. Yet even in judgment, there was mercy. For God made garments to cover them. He clothed them with care, not anger. And though he sent them from Eden, he did not send them alone. As the gates of the garden closed, Adam and Eve stood together. Their hands still joined. Their hearts are still bound by love and loss. The wind turned cold. The world outside was vast and strange. But Adam looked at Eve, and she at him. And in their eyes flickered the same light that once filled Eden. They stepped forward. Two souls carrying the memory of paradise. And though the path was hard, they walked it together. The earth outside, the garden was wide and wild. The ground was rough beneath their feet. The wind was sharp, the nights were long. And the light of Eden faded behind them like a distant dream. They built their shelter from the stones of the field. They learned to plant and to wait, to work the soil and to find beauty even in the thorns. Eve gathered seeds and pressed them into the earth, her hands soft yet strong. And Adam watched her with admiration, knowing that even in loss there was grace. For love had become their strength. They bore children, and in each cry of new life they heard a whisper of hope, a sign that God's mercy was still them. Eve held her first child close. She looked at him and felt both pain and love, for she knew the world was now broken. Yet love could still create life within it. Adam tilled the ground. The sweat on his brow was the mark of his care, and each seed he planted was a prayer for the future. Their days were filled with labor, but also with laughter. They aged slowly, their faces marked with years and sunlight. She would rest her head upon his shoulder, and together they would watch the sky turn with quiet peace. For even though paradise was behind them, the love between them still carried its light. They saw sorrow. They buried their son Abel, and grief like a storm fell upon them. But even in tears, they held each other, for they knew the pain of loss was the cost of love. And the story of their love became the story of all love, created in innocence, tested by choice, redeemed through endurance. Adam looked upon the land and saw his children's children. He saw the fields growing with grain, the rivers flowing beyond sight, and he thanked God for mercy. Eve stood beside him, her hair silver in the sunlight, her eyes soft with time, and she whispered, love was not lost, only changed. When their final days came, they rested beneath the same sky they once saw from Eden, the same stars that watched their first embrace. And they were not afraid, for they had learned that paradise was not a place, but a promise that lived within the heart of love. In that stillness, they remembered the first morning, the first breath, the first gaze, and the moment they were made for each other. They closed their eyes, and though their bodies returned to dust, their love did not end. It flowed through time, through every heart that loves, through every hand that reaches, every tear that forgives. The story of Adam and Eve became the story of humanity, of love that begins in light, walks through darkness, and still chooses to endure. For love was stronger than the fall, deeper than sorrow. And so the garden lived on, not in the earth, but in the hearts of those who love, where every touch, every forgiveness, every hope is a seed of Eden reborn. Adam and Eve, the first lovers, the first dreamers. They taught the world that love is not lost in the fall. It is found in the rising. Again and again. Forever, don't forget to like, Subscribe and leave a comment if you enjoyed this story. Bye for now, and God bless you.